Retired Supreme Court justices are raising serious concerns over the Supreme Court's impeachment ruling on Vice President Sara Duterte. And mobile journalist Arles de los Santos has that report.
Very inconsistent and very chop suey. That is how retired Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Carpio has described the Supreme Court's ruling on the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte nearly a month after the decision was handed down. Speaking at the forum held at the University of the Philippines College of Law, Carpio pointed out the disconnect in SC's July 2025 decision, which stated that Congress did not violate the prescribed session days under its own rules of impeachment. However, in its final and executory ruling dated January 28, 2026, the court shifted its position, saying that the House had exceeded on the 10 calendar days while in session, acting on the first 3 impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte.
This concept of a session day as a calendar day where there are plenary session was never a legal concept before January 28, 2026. Not in the US. No court ever said that. No legislature ever adopted that rule. So it's a totally new concept.
Retired Associate Justice Adolfo Azcuna, who authored Article 11 of the 1987 Constitution, echoed this view. He said that the Supreme Court justices themselves are impeachable officials and should not be making rules for themselves.
That would be violation of due process and violation of fairness. So for them to make guidelines on the procedure for impeachment is, I think, beyond the scope of their powers, because precisely they are impeachable officials.
Carpio and Azcuna also cited what they describe as serious constitutional infirmities and fatal errors in the SC's earlier decision, particularly its claim that there was no plenary vote by 1/3 or a majority of House members, despite evidence from the official House Journal and live stream showing that a vote had taken place. The forum also raised concern over the perceived decline in oral arguments being conducted by the Supreme Court in major cases, including the recent impeachment complaint. For her part, UP College of Law Dean Gwen Garcia de Vera said certain portions of the ruling were problematic, citing differences in tone and language within the decision itself. Despite the public's prevailing sentiment on the unconstitutionality of the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte, Justice Azcuna reiterated that impeachment remains doable for all impeachable officials, provided that the technical requirements set out in the court's ruling are followed, particularly due process, which includes furnishing all members of Congress with copies of the complaint and supporting evidence. The decision added it did not absolve Duterte of any of her alleged wrongdoings and charges and is currently facing 4 new impeachment complaints after the lapse of the 1-year bar rule. Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.